Hi, everybody. Welcome back to the Aliens and Angels podcast. Now, today I do not have a guest for you because I wanted us meaning you, the viewer, and those who are in the live chat today, to put our heads together and share what we know so far about 3I Atlas. Everyone holds a piece of the puzzle. So let's put the pieces together and see what we can find. All of the links are featured below. I want to thank you in advance for liking, commenting, subscribing, and please do share my content with your friends. And I'm very happy to announce that YouTube and Rumble channel memberships are now available, so you can receive my perks and help to support my channel. If you are already a member of my channel or you plan to join soon, let me know if you would like to be part of my upcoming panel of members scheduled sometime in December. And no, I don't have a topic yet for that, but it should be quite interesting. Now, there is something else. I want to quickly say hi to Denise and Leah in the live chat. Thank you so much for joining me today. You guys are awesome. Now, before we get into 3I Atlas, though, I want to talk a little bit about what's happening here, or what has already happened here in Canada. For those of you who are in the States or other parts of the world, you might not be aware. And so I'm going to try to get through this bit of news without crying, because it's such a horrible, horrible situation. So long story short, there was a farm in British Columbia, which is on the west coast of Canada, and they had over 300 ostriches. And they found that every time the ostriches got sick, they not only got better, but they had natural immunity in their eggs. And then they became heavily scrutinized by the British Columbia and federal governments here in Canada. Now, I know a lot of you know where this is going, but I just want to very quickly share a clip that outlines why these ostriches were so incredibly valuable. And I want to mention that they were never tested for disease. And they were by veterinarians, and they got a clean bill of health. So none of these ostriches were sick. They were all in perfect health, and they held this amazing immunity. So I'm just going to quickly add this to the stage and play it. It's very short, but it will give you an idea of what has been going on.
More fun facts. Today is all about ostrich eggs. One ostrich egg weighs an average of 3 to 4 pounds per egg. It's the same as 100 chicken eggs in an ostrich egg worth of antibodies. That's incredible. Imagine how many antibodies are in this one egg. These antibodies have been naturally brought here this year. No injections, nothing. Naturally brought here by the ducks, and they were really good to bring H5N1, and so our birds are carrying H5N1 antibodies. The hen in 4 weeks produces antibodies, and she puts those in her eggs so that the offspring will carry them. These animals are crazily, amazingly, they've lived on the earth for millions of years, and a lot of that is because of these beautiful eggs and what they hold. But what do they hold? They hold an absolute cure, a natural cure for H5N1. It's a treatment. We could take antibodies out of this egg and put it in a nasal spray, because H5N1 is aromatic, and we could actually create a treatment that is natural. So if you get sick and you go to the hospital and you could possibly die, Guess what? You could have a shot of natural antibodies. Wouldn't that be amazing? With a nasal spray, not a needle, a nasal spray. Wouldn't that be amazing? So these are all in quarantine right now. They're stuck in a barn. They're not allowed out until we can get them through the courts out to be able to help people. So that's another reason we're fighting, is to be able to use these amazing antibodies to help people, help animals, to help the world. That's what this is all about, you guys. Saving these amazing, beautiful, healthy, happy animals and saving the science behind it. More tomorrow. Bye.
Oops. Okay, let me just close that. Whoops. Go back to StreamYard. Here I am. Okay, so now you know basically the science behind why these birds were so valuable. But besides that, they were also pets. They were beloved pets. They were well cared for. They lived in peace and harmony. Anyway, so the government wanted to cull them, and the people that owned the farm already exhausted every possibility, going to court, trying to get this overturned, and nothing seemed to work. In the meantime, the government quarantined the birds so that the owners couldn't take care of them anymore. Yeah, hang on, Leah. I'm just going to finish up with this bit. Did you guys hear the video I played from Facebook about the ostrich eggs? Because I just want to finish up about that before I change subjects here. Um, and so long story short, what the owners didn't know is that the government had been taking blood samples from these birds, treating them very cruelly, like they're like lab rats, which not that they should be treated cruelly either. And this has been going on while the farm owners have been trying to raise awareness and get the government to protect the birds. So the birds are perfectly healthy, but they carry the antibodies that we would need in order to create immunization, proper immunization. So then, not last night, but the night before, in the middle of the night, the government hired a bunch of people to come in and shoot all the birds, over 300. They're all dead now. And it wasn't until they were all killed, or culled, as they like to call it, by the government, and for no good reason. These animals were culled, and it wasn't until the next day, when they were doing the cleanup of the bodies, they realized how horribly treated these birds were. And the farm owners were promised that the animals would be killed in a very humane way. But the reality of it is they just had people out there shooting them. And I don't know, took a lot of shots to kill one bird because they didn't do it humanely. They didn't have experienced hunters who knew how to put them out of their misery so quickly. So I just want you to all know that Canada is in a very, very bad position right now. And not just from a health perspective, but from an economic, financial, political, medical, you name it. It's unbelievable. But I'm not going to talk the whole show about it, because I know you're here. You want to all talk about Three Eye Atlas, and I've gathered the information that I could get so far on that. And I want everybody to know that, number one, I'm not giving medical advice, and number two, I'm not giving factual news advice. I am actually just sharing what I have learned so far, and what those in the live chat have learned so far. And, based on also what we know about the powers that be, we don't even know how much of this is accurate. So with that, we'll move on. I want to say, let's see, I want to say hi to Denise. Hi, Denise. Denise is our wonderful moderator, shows up and takes good care of this channel while I'm live. And she also says, please say hi, hit the link below, and share out and subscribe. Oh, by the way, about the ostrich farms, there's tons and tons and tons of stuff on social media. I'm not posting it. You can easily find it for yourself. We have Leah here today. Leah says, hi, Karen. Hi, Leah. Very, very nice to see you too. Another way that you can support my work is go to buymeacoffee.com/Karen Holton TV. That would really help me out with my expenses to keep the show happening and hopefully lively. And now we have our first question from Leah. Leah says, Karen, do your ET friends talk with you at will? No, they do not. There was a time where I was in very close contact with them. I was having nightly visitations to the big ship. I wrote all about it in my book called Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors. And then after 3 months of our time, it abruptly stopped. Now, our time, there's a differential between our time and time aboard the big ship. They don't actually even have time aboard the big ship, but it was like 3.5 years of experiences. So it was a lot for me to unpack, organize, figure out, and then start to put it together so that I could publish my book. Now, I've had contact from all kinds of other beings. I've had contact from relatives who are long since dead. I've had contact from other humans that are also dead. I've had contact from the spiritual realms. I've had contact from many different ET realms. There are so many realms, you couldn't even shake a stick at them all. And I've been blessed with a lot of contact, and it made me really happy and it helped me out super a lot, unbelievable. But now I don't have as much contact. Now, it seems to me that I have contact from my main ET person, and I call him Bob the Gray. And Bob is a gray, but he's not actually called Bob. But that's an easy name for me to remember and use, and he doesn't mind. It's funny, a lot of people say we don't use the word alien because it's pejorative and it's rude, and we don't use the term ET because it's not accurate. They're transdimensional. But what I have found through ETs or aliens, whatever you want to call them, they don't care what we call them. What they care is that we work on becoming better human beings. That seems to be the thing that they care about. And I have not had a nefarious experience, so I can't speak to that, but that doesn't mean that those things don't actually happen. And here we got Denise, not sure what that little emoji is, but it's adorable. Thank you, Denise. So right now what I'm going to do is add to the screen an image as best as I could find of 3I Atlas, and more or less, it infuriates me because they have all kinds of technology and they have all kinds of telescopes out there, and they have all kinds of satellites out there who could take better images of this. And then, of course, they have one excuse after another why they don't have images for us. And I find that, sorry, I got distracted by the chat. I find that there's no excuse for them not to give us better images of this. So the image on the right, I believe, is an actual image of 3I Atlas. The one on the left is actually more of a I don't remember what they call it, but it's a type of camera that takes pictures of different frequencies and different elements that make up the so-called comet. And that may not be what it actually looks like. So far, we've been given very little information, which causes us to all go and speculate on our own. Oh, I just want to catch up in the chat here. Thank you, Leah. Leah says, that she prays that those ostriches have an egg left. Yeah, me too. I hope they hid lots of eggs. And it is horrible as a species because those ostriches were tame. They were pets and they were beautiful and they were happy. And then the government came along. And, you know, how much of this do we have to put up with? The whole thing is by the time we go through the court systems, I know I'm switching back to the original subject. By the time we go through the court systems to try to get any help, it's too late. And it's such absolute travesty. And I highly recommend you do some more research into it. The people who own the farm are completely devastated. So many people are completely devastated. Any unnecessary death is pretty devastating. And I'm going to ask you this, if they would do that to ostriches, what will they do with our children worldwide? Just going to float that out there. Let's see what we got here. Leah says, will we integrate some concept of unity consciousness from 3i Atlas? And I don't know. That's a super good question, though, Leah. So I'm going to go over the information that I have so far, and I'm encouraging you to add to it. Add anything you want to add to it. Denise was crying about the birds. So sad. Denise, I bawled my eyes out last night. I had a hard time sleeping and a hard time getting up to do this show today because I was so upset. But I'm hoping it wakes a lot of people up. I guess that's pretty much. And Leah says they went immediately to source. Yes, I totally agree with that. These beautiful, innocent birds have gone to source and they're at peace now. It's the farmers and the people involved that are just super devastated right now. If you have any kind words to send to them now, it would be the time. Leah says, Karen, when I get working again, I will be in a position to honor your gifts and work with a contribution soon, I hope. You. I am super touched by any donation I get or people who order from my website some of my products. That also helps to support my work or buy me a coffee, but I don't expect it. I love you all unconditionally. I appreciate you so much. You add so much to the content of my podcast. I enjoy your company. That's the thing that's super, super important for me. So I just want you to know I'm not sitting here hoping that you're all and wishing that you're all going to send me money. Not at all. If you do, oh my God, I absolutely appreciate it, but it's not expected. I want you all to take really good care of yourselves. Make sure you're buying good quality food, that you're able to pay the rent, pay for heat, especially if you're up here in Canada, things are getting pretty rough. So, Leah says, thank you. And thank you, Leah. Just the fact you want to help out is huge. Absolutely, um, absolutely huge. Leah says, oh, we are honored, Karen. You're beautiful. Thank you. So are you, Leah. And so is Denise and all the other people who join us. I appreciate it so much. So not to try to brush you aside, I love you very much, but let's just talk a little bit about 3i Atlas. I know I always get the name mixed up too. I end up calling it AI Atlas. It's not, it's 3i. Different subject, but maybe not that different. Maybe not that different. Oh, thank you, Leah. She says the kingdom of heaven is within. So go to your heart. Thank you. And I would agree with that. So let's get back to 3i Atlas. We don't have very good pictures. I mean, this picture off to the right could be like one of the orbs that are frequently seen all over Earth. It could be anything. Even the image next to it could be almost anything. But the physical characteristics that I've been able to glean so far is, first of all, it had no tail. So we know the difference between an asteroid and a comet is an asteroid doesn't have a tail and a comet does. And the reason a comet does is because it's got a lot of frozen landmass to it. And as it comes nearer the sun, or just from space travel, I guess, it heats up and it forms this huge plume. And the plume generally faces away from our sun. So could this be a comet? No, it doesn't have the characteristics of being a comet. Then at one point, it actually did produce a tail, except it faced in the opposite direction. So what I'm seeing with these physical characteristics is it's almost like whatever 3I Atlas is, it's sending messages indirectly with hints. And maybe those are the only kind of hints that we're permitted to be aware of. So the tail finally did show up all of a sudden, faced in the opposite direction from what it was supposed to. Nobody had ever seen anything like that. Then it went behind the sun for a while over Halloween, and now it's starting to emerge. And guess what? Now they're finding out that it is actually got 5 plumes coming from absolute opposite directions, and these plumes are plasma. What the heck is this? I don't know. So before we move on from the physical attributes that I have gleaned so far, do any of you out there want to add to the discussion as we go on this far? Let's see. I got from Leah, she says, I kept dreaming these colors with no explanation a few times now. Isn't that interesting? Those colors are very similar to the colors in this image. So apparently the colors in the image show scientists what minerals are involved here, because different minerals have different frequencies. They emit different parts of the visible light spectrum, and they give us clues as to what might be going on there. Leah also says, I heard it's a natural object, guided or guided higher technology. And she also says, ancient, we called it and it came. Great point. Great point. And also, yes, I agreed 100%. I think there's a connection of these colors with a, sorry, 3I Atlas. Sorry, guys. I know it's confusing, but it's probably meant to be that way. Okay, so now I want to move on to contact with other beings. Are there other beings aboard 3I Atlas? And some say yes, and some say no, and some say I don't know. So some people have said that the beings aboard have contacted humans through the CERN system, and apparently these beings are not physical, they're etheric, or they're non-physical, and they're on board. But then I also have some friends who say they have been in contact. So there's Jeff Silver. Oh, I hope I'm not getting my friends mixed up. Jeff Silver says that it is part of the grays that he's in contact with. And I heard from Kevin Michael Estrella that according to the Ponti, which are grays that live here on the earth, have for like over 100,000 years, that these beings aboard 3I Atlas are testing humankind. Do we freak out? Do we call out the war chariots? Do we start bombing them? Do we collapse as a civilization? I'm thinking, no, we don't. Thinking we're handling this a lot better than the powers that be. And Leah also says they would not be informed. Well, that's what the evidence is saying. And so what they're doing is, it started with Oumuamua. Actually, I think there was one interstellar craft before that. Then there was Oumuamua. Oumuamua pretty much just minded its own business, did a few tricky things that are technically, according to our scientists, impossible. and then it disappeared. Now we have 3i Atlas, and it's giving us all kinds of clues. So, like I said, it has all these physical characteristics, and then some people are claiming that they absolutely are in contact, but the beings are non physical, and that this is a test for humanity. And I think we're handling it really well. I really do, in spite of all the crap that's coming to us on mainstream and social media. I think we're doing really well at not freaking out about this. Of course, we don't really know what's going on either. So Leah says, we are the ones shaping reality going forward. Yes, I would agree with that as well, Leah. So there's that. Please feel free to add to the live chat anything, or if you're watching a replay, you can just add it to the comments. Whatever Leah says here. Oumuamua came to my mind strongly just before 3i Atlas was seen. Yes, me too. That was the first thing I thought of. So the next thing is we're saying, yes, some people are claiming to have contact with the beings aboard 3i Atlas. So the next step is, are they angels or demons? What do you think in the live chat? Do you have any thoughts about that? Personally, I don't think, well, it could be a deception by demons. It could be. But I think it also could be what we would classify as angels. Um, First of all, they've done nothing to threaten us. They've done nothing to hurt us. They've done nothing super freaky, like come super close to Earth as though they're going to invade, which I don't think they are. Um, and I have seen nothing nefarious going on, and it looks like it's going to keep going and it's going to exit our solar system without much ado. And that's why I've said right from the beginning that I think this is a big nothing burger. So, no disrespect to my friends, like Jeff Selver or Kevin Estrella or any other friends that I have out there who have ET contact and do honestly believe they're having contact with the beings aboard 3i Atlas. I personally, yet there might be beings, there might not. I have no way of knowing. And I don't have the kind of relationship with my guides where I ask them a bunch of questions and wait for answers. I don't have that kind of relationship. The beings that I have relationships with are at our next stage of development. So they're all about helping us to develop to become higher beings. So they're not that much into the three-dimensional grounded reality in which we all live. And I think that might be why. But that being said, there's also a lot of talk about Earth having technology that could be posing as 3i Atlas. And I'm sure you've all heard about the space race, about the Solar Warden program, where apparently we have these huge, giant intergalactic spaceships already that are traveling and making contact. We have so much information just hither and thither and back again. It's really hard to know what's going on. I'm just going to check with the um the chat. Whoa, okay, I'm a little bit behind. Here we go. Leah says, I wonder if a hybrid because I'm ahead of the curve. Oh, if I am a hybrid because I am ahead of the curve. Well, you might be. You just might be. I have met enough ETs to be to the point where nothing surprises me anymore. Kalia also says, I think it's us. And Leah also says, doesn't that sound human thinking that it's all about us? Yeah, you do have a very good point there. And she also says, we are loved and protected by what ego we still have, but not for long. That might be true as well. Rodney Letterman, Rodney Letman, nice to see you. One tells it is us from the future. There's another option. Absolutely could be right on the money. And Leah actually agrees with you by saying, I think it could be. So, like I said at the very beginning of this show, I'm not an expert. I don't know for a fact what's going on. I'm guessing, but I'm trying to make sense of what I already know, what resonates with me, what I've known for years, and putting that all together with what we're hearing from the news. So it sounds like some of you out there do agree that there is some kind of a space race, some kind of a solar warden. We hear about 20 and back, and we hear about all kinds of stuff. I am not involved in any of those groups, so I have to admit my ignorance on that issue. Like I said earlier, the beings that I have contact with are at our next stage of development. They are only interested in elevating humanity. And because they're transdimensional, it's very unlikely that they would make trips to Earth. Not to mention, I get into a great detail in my book, Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors, about the reasons why ETs, as I understand them, are not actually coming to Earth. But that doesn't mean I'm an expert on all the different races and groups. I'm not at all. Again, grasping at straws. Leah says it came from the Sagittarius constellation. What I find interesting about that, Leah, is it comes from the same place as the WOW signal. So if you don't know about the WOW signal, highly recommend you all do some research. And basically, we have, I believe it was ESETI. Some of the groups sound so familiar, are so much like each other, I get them mixed up. But they sent out a radio signal for years and years and years. And then finally, they got one signal back that clearly was intelligently designed and executed. Now, to me, it makes sense that ET is not using radio frequencies. It's slow, it's archaic, but we did indeed get an answer. And it is coming from the same basic location that the 3I Atlas is also coming from. So that is another sort of interesting component to all of that. So before we get into, is this a threat or is this benign? I'm going to very quickly play for you a short promotion. And because I'm having a sale on my website, I want you all to know about it. And it ends at the end of November. So I'm just going to quickly put that out for you. Are you looking for the perfect, unique seasonal gift? Check out Zendome's Orgonite. They are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are affordable, ethically sourced, handmade, and double charged for maximum effect. They are only available through my website, KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. These beautiful devices are simple compounds which balance ambient energy by converting negative energy and EMF into positive healing energy with many easily confirmed health benefits. They help diminish the harmful effects of negative energies and EMF by attracting and converting them, retuning them into new and more healthful sound and light wave patterns. They also produce orgone energy, which is also known as chi, prana, zero point, and life force. And you can use these devices for focusing the mind, healing, meditation, and for spiritual growth. Zendome's Orgonite are my unique brand of orgone generators, and they are only available through my website. Don't be fooled by imitations. Check out my website to see my latest selection at KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. That's KarenHolton Healthcoach.com. Check them out today. And we're back. Thank you, everybody. And I want to put a special thank you out there to the viewers and listeners, and those of you who visited my website, those of you who come into my live chats, all of you who have ordered my orgone generators. I want to thank you very, very much. Now, I had a friend of them making them for me. I designed them and he made them for me, and he's not making them anymore. So what I have is all I have. When I sell out of a particular style or with a particular kind of crystals or symbols or sigils, they're gone. And as far as I know, because of the way the economy is, I won't be getting any more unless I find someone. But it's kind of hard to find that kind of quality, to be honest with you. So I want to thank you all for supporting my work. And again, I'm in Canada and all my prices are Canadian. And the Canadian dollar is worth at least, well, I would say around 30% less than the American dollars. Your dollar is going to go way further if you're in any other country besides Canada. And then I'm also giving 40% off until the end of the month. And I want to reduce my stock a little bit so that I can um, cash out a little bit so that I can then afford to look at the new year with any equipment I need for my podcasts or um, just things I want to do. I'd also like to save up to go to a UFO conference next year. I've never been to one, and I would love to go to one. So that's also on my list of goals. So yeah, so if you feel like going, the links are below. I would really appreciate it. And if you don't, I still appreciate you. I'm going to love you all unconditionally. I've made up my mind, and that's just how it is. Okay, let's get back to the live chat. Leah says we should probably work on our nervous systems since seeing or being more aware of frequency. Yep, I would agree with that as well. And she also says the sun has an effect on our cardiac system, ironically. I know, right? Like we've been told for years and years the sun is bad for you, and everybody I know is all greased up with sunscreen and all this crap. I don't use any of it. I go out and get as much sun as I can. And oh my God, does it feel good? It just feels good. And anything that feels that good can't be that bad. Just going to say that. Leah says, oh, look at your goods. I love this. Thank you. Thank you. Yeah, I've taken great care to produce really good quality products. Everything I do my very, very best. And let's see, Denise says, I have all those crystals everywhere. I love them. You, Denise. Yes, Denise. Actually, we had a contest, and Denise won several of my pieces, which I was very happy to send to her, as well as crystals. I'm so glad you're enjoying those, Denise. Leah says, great holiday gifts for everyone. I agree. Like, seriously, because of the slowness of the snail mail and everything else, you folks do want to order them before the end of November, not just to get the discount. Oh, by the way, you need a coupon code that's fall 2025. So that's FALL 2025. And I don't think it matters whether it's upper or lower case. Um, the link for my store is right below in the description. But basically, I'll tell you it's www.KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com. And that's KarenHolton, healthcoach.com. And as soon as you log on to it, you will see all my amazing products. You can also go to the tab and look under the store. I have all kinds of things. I also have PDFs. I have crystals. Crystals are also 40% off. I don't have very many left, but I have a few. And oh, fearlessly phoenixing. Hi, nice to see you. Thank you for joining us. And oh my gosh, Denise, thank you so much for the super chat. You are absolutely so lovely. You know, I should be paying you, Denise. I mean, you show up for pretty much every show. You monitor the live chat. You put in all the links. You're absolutely a godsend. I don't know what I did before I met you, and I am so grateful for you. And if you can afford to send me a super chat, that's awesome. I could really use it. But I also don't want you to feel like you have to. Make sure you have enough for yourself. Take care of your little dog to have, sometimes you have to save up in case you have to go to the vet. You want to eat good quality food. You want to be able to heat your house. Like there's lots of things that I know your money could go to. So I just really want to say thank you and I appreciate you very much. But please, everybody, do take care of yourselves. Super, super important. Leah says she's going to go check out my shop right now. Love you. Love you too. And thank you. Just thank you, thank you, thank you. And I love you too, Denise. It's funny, we've never physically met. I'm hoping you will be on my live panel sometime in November. If you're interested, send me an email. It's members only. So basically, I'm going to have my members on as guests if you so choose to, and we'll talk about anything and everything. I'd like to hear if you've had any paranormal experiences. Have you seen any ETs? Have you seen any UAPs or UFOs? Have you had a strange relative in your family or ghosts in your house? It doesn't matter. And you don't have to know everything about it. I just would love to have my members on, and we will be the main event for a show in December. So if you would like to be on my show, please do let me know. And Leah says, thank you, dear Denise. Fearlessly Phoenixing says Denise is amazing. Yeah, you sure are, Denise. Well, you all are, but I really appreciate that extra effort. Oh, we've got Kristen back. Kristen, how are you? She says, darn, I'm late. Hello, Karen, Denise, Fearlessly Phoenixing. It's still lovely to see you. And you can always watch a replay or you can always listen to a live podcast. Oops, sorry, not live, but audio podcast at the Forbidden Knowledge Network website or Spotify or anything like that. But I'm just so happy to see you. And let's see, what does Fearlessly Phoenixing say? I'm 90% certain my mom is adopted because of our history. Plus, I've been used in sketchy medical research that can't be traced. Now, that's another good subject. So, I'm not sure if you can afford to become a member, but it's pretty reasonable. I think it's $3.99, or maybe it's less in American funds. But if you'd like to become a member, I would love to have you on the show. And it's not that I only want to favor certain people, it's that I just want to show my appreciation to certain people who consistently help to support my channel. It's just a way of me saying thank you because it makes such a huge difference. Um, Kristen says, cool, shy, hungry, angry. Yes, I can. That would be awesome. And Fearlessly says, late is better than never, right? Absolutely. Absolutely. I try not to have a whole bunch of rules and uh, be too anal on my program. I have all kinds of people who watch my program. I've got all kinds of guests. And it doesn't matter to me if they vape or smoke during a show. That has little bearing on the character of my friends. My friends are really good people, and I just really enjoy having relationships with all of you. And if it wasn't for you, my life would be sadder. Just going to say it. It would be sadder because I wouldn't have you in my life. And I do very much appreciate you. And it gives me the courage to go on producing shows as often as I can so that we can get together and share in community. Super important. Fearlessly Phoenixing says, and we found a document that shows our great grandfather was on loan to the FBI, UK government, and Dominion of Canada. And we have a certificate of him with the Vice President Nixon on atomic testing. It's crazy. That is crazy. Oh my gosh. Truth is indeed stranger than fiction. Maybe one day you'd love to come on my show and we could talk more about it. Kristen, thank you so much for the super chat. Much love back to you. Again, guys, make sure you have enough for yourself. Very, very important. But if you have a little extra and you want to help support my work, I sure appreciate it. You guys are absolutely awesome. Fearlessly Phoenixing says it would be so cool if the Forbidden Knowledge had a group subscription. That's a good idea. That would be a really, really good idea. As far as I know, you can go to the Forbidden Knowledge Network website, or you can look us up. I'm under Karen Holton. No, sorry, I'm under Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on the audio podcast, but that also includes all of my um, um, Unseen Nexus podcasts, my independent podcasts, and it also includes my Aliens and Angels podcasts as well. And if you go on and download my content and very gratefully leave me some stars, that actually will end up with some revenue at the end of the year. I'm not sure how much, but some, and I really appreciate it. And you can do the same for the other podcasts, but it would be great if we had a group subscription. So I'm going to mention that to Chris and see what he has to say. Fearlessly says, Karen, I'm like 1 hour north of you. So I'm Canadian funds too. Well, Fearlessly, I had no idea that you were 1 hour north of me. I'm in Alberta, and it sounds like you might be in Alberta too. It's getting frosty out there, eh? And you're also good friends of my friend Ryan Burns, and he loves it when you're on his program too, because you're such a wealth of information. Let's see. Denise says, thank you, Kristen. Much love. And Kristen sends us all whole bunches of love. That's what I like to see. Guys, whenever we choose to love each other, whether we know each other or not, we're raising our frequency and we're raising the frequency of our friends. And we can't do much better than that. So now, I notice we're quickly running out of time. So let me just finish up with the 3I Atlas. Just add this. Fearlessly Phoenixing says, I love all you guys. You guys are all amazing. Well, you know what? So are you, Fearlessly Phoenixing. Very much so. So I'm going to add, is 3I Atlas a threat or is it B9? I'll vote first. I think it's B9. I don't think that they're headed to take over Earth. I think they will, when they're done, slip again outside of our solar system. And they came, I'm sure, with a purpose. I do suspect there's higher intelligence involved, but I'm going to say it's benign. What are your opinions out in the group chat? Or those that are watching the replay, please leave me a comment. Ha ha! Leah, you hit it right on the money. She says, we are a threat to ourselves. They are fine. Absolutely. Absolutely. As I started out with the program talking about the ostriches in British Columbia, Canada. Oh, no, we can have none of that. The big pharma wants to make sure that they're in charge of everything, and it's really scary. It is really scary. Denise says benign. I agree. I think it's benign too. I don't think they're here to save us. I think that they will continue to give us hints that there's something going on with 3I Atlas that lets us know we're not alone. And that to me is very good news. So it's like ET's not waiting for humans to disclose. Besides, we've been disclosing and disclosing. It's just the government that doesn't want to. And they're going to help us disclose. I think it's very, very exciting. Kristen Kruger says, LOL. Leah, I agree. And Denise also backs you up. So true, Leah. And Leah says, I have to start dinner and chores. I'm sending love. We're almost done, Leah. Again, thank you so much for joining us. Thank you, everybody, for joining us. And thank you for everybody giving me your opinions because they're all valuable. One thing I try to do on this show is not take sides. And sometimes I get a bit pissed off, but I try not to show it, and I try not to show it on the show, because I don't always agree with everything. But it's amazing how it's almost like a global disclosure, not just of ET, but of everything, like 0 point energy and free energy and all kinds of things that are coming out that we're now discovering. It's a very exciting time to be alive. So I believe we need to really take good care of ourselves, love each other, love ourselves. Wait for the miracle. Don't quit 15 minutes before the miracle gets here. And so that's about it. If you have any final opinions, just show them in the chat. I'll do my best to. Yeah, it is. Kristen says everything at once. It's exhausting sometimes. Yeah, it is. It is. I don't know about you guys, but I find I'm tired by like 3 o'clock in the afternoon, and I'm exhausted and useless by 5 o'clock in the afternoon. It's because I'm getting old. I don't know. But, trying to be a better person, all the effort it takes to be a better person, to do my research, to mind my own business, to try to, take good care of my cats, take good care of me, everything. It's really a lot. Yeah, but I really think if we hang in there, we're going to get through this. It's going to be really exciting. So I just want to quickly tell you a couple of upcoming shows. On Wednesday, we have the Quantum Guide Show, episode 245. I'm having Philip Kinsella back and Chris Mays. They have written a book together, which I have read, and we're going to talk about it. I've had them on before, but that was before I had time to actually read the book. Makes a big difference when people actually read the book. And so they're going to be talking about that. They're out of England. It'll be a little late for them, but we'll start right at 1 p.m. our time, well, I should say mountain time, and we'll only go for an hour, if that, so that they can get off and get into their evening routine. Because in England, it's like 7 hours, I believe, later than it is here. And then next week on the Aliens and Angels show, I'm having a brand new guest called Jan Hahn. And she wrote a book called Gold from the Flames, and it's based on her ET contact experiences. So just want to give you the heads up. That's what's coming. I'm going to check again with the chat. You guys are so good to me. Thank you. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Denise says, yes, I've been so tired. Yeah, I've been crazy tired. Like to the point, not to complain, but to the point where I've been thinking, should I go see the doctor? Should I go have a blood test? What's going on here? And then, the better side of reason says, Karen, have the doctors helped you in the past? No. Have you followed their advice? Yes. Did it make you better or sicker? Sicker. I'm not doing that anymore. So I'm just thinking it's a natural phenomenon. We also got all kinds of crazy stuff going on with the Schumann resonance and the sun and solar flares and God knows what. Well, but it's still a good time and to hang out with you guys. Fearlessly Phoenixing says, I'm with you. I'm exhausted lately too. And like no energy by 8 p.m. I'm passing out. Yeah, me too. This is really, really common. People used to be able to go out and go visiting and go shopping and come home and do housework and make dinner and go out again. And there used to be all kinds of clubs and groups you could go to in the evening and dance lessons and God knows what. It was awesome. And now we're all too tired. But let's hang in there, guys. Let's hang in there. Fearlessly Phoenixing says, like no energy by 8 p.m. I'm passing out. Sorry, I think I may have put that on the screen twice. Okay. So, guys, I hope you have an awesome week. Take good care of yourselves. Keep your frequency high. Keep your expectations low here on planet Earth. Apparently, things will get a little worse before they get better, and then they're going to get a lot better. So we could end up with a whole new reality. So excited. In the meantime, let's cozy up, put on our warm jammies and our big fluffy blankets and our warm slippers and curl up with a hot beverage and, do research on YouTube, watch your friends programming, join your friends on programming, make plans for the winter. I plan to eat a lot, but I plan to eat really well. I always do that in the winter time. You can see my cheeks getting chubbier and chubbier till January, and then they get smaller and smaller again, just like a squirrel. I don't know what to say about that, but yeah. So I love you all, and I thank you all so much for joining me today. And me too, fearlessly. I'm in bed by 9. Yeah, seriously. And it's really a challenge when people invite me on their shows that start like at 10 p.m. Oh, there's no way I could stay awake for it as much as I would love to. But anyway, there we have it, everybody. It's been so good to hang out with you. Thank you for your great generosity, your love, and sending much love back to you and to everybody watching the replay or the lives on the Forbidden Knowledge Network. I love you all so much, sending out heaps of awesome positive energy, and we'll see you all soon. Bye-bye, everybody. Thank you for joining me for the Aliens and Angels podcast. Read about my true life ET contact in my book called Transdimensional Meet the New Neighbors, which is now available on Amazon worldwide. Subscribe to my YouTube, Rumble, and X channels at Karen Holton TV. The like button and leave me a comment. And please do share this podcast with your friends. Check out my website at www.KarenHoltonHealthCoach.com to see my free resources and amazing products and services. All of the links will be in the description below. As part of the Forbidden Knowledge Network, you'll also find the Quantum Guide Show with Karen Holton on all audio platforms. Until next time, keep up the good work.